Before we get into today's topic, I'd just like to say this video is proudly sponsored by FS Academy, and guess what? They've got a new range of mission packs available for Microsoft Flight Simulator coming very soon for PC and Xbox users. Now prepare yourself for some very exhilarating situations that include emergency procedures and malfunctions, hazardous weather. You can even recreate the miracle on the Hudson, and in fact our good friend Mark from the Sim Hangar did just that, and I'll leave a link to that video in the notes below. They also come with necessary charts, procedures, even a ground school to get you up and running. And don't forget, these missions are from a real world airline captain. Anyway, it's now time to get into today's video. Hello folks, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are in the CJ Simulations Typhoon, and we're going to do a display over Bournemouth, which is happening this very weekend. And there's a very good reason why I've chosen this particular aircraft. I'll explain that in a moment. But really, the main reason why you're watching this video, of course, is because I'm trying out the Pimax Crystal Lighthouse faceplate. So at the moment, I'm using traditional Lighthouse tracking. I've changed the faceplate of this headset, which sounds scary. I'll just show you some shots now what it looks like. It's actually very easy to just clip off the main plate of the Crystal and add the new one on. And yeah, it took me about, well, 5 minutes, not even that, just, you know, being a bit scared to start with, but it really is very easy. And I'm really pleased that Pimax have decided to do it that way, because I was a bit worried this new faceplate would, you know, gain extra weight, but it makes absolutely zero difference to the weight. So that's the first thing. Now you may be asking yourself, wow, that's loud. You may be asking yourself, why use the Lighthouse faceplate tracker when, you know, the Pimax Crystal already tracks quite well with inside-out tracking? Well, for those of you out there that do have base stations, this is actually a very nice upgrade, because it means the tracking is absolutely sublime, as good as anything out there, of course, because it's using the best in the business base station tracking. It means really that I can look behind me like this, or crane my neck, and I never lose tracking. That is something I did complain about a little bit with the inside-out tracking solution of the Crystal. Like any inside-out tracking solution, it's not just the Crystal, it's every VR headset I've ever had that uses inside-out tracking. If I ever look behind me like this in my room, I generally kind of lose tracking, especially looking at the wall there. But it's fine, it's just, it never loses tracking, which is brilliant. That's what you want. But this also means you can use different controllers, particularly index controllers. Now, believe it or not, I don't have a pair of index controllers, but I must admit, if I did, I would absolutely buy this faceplate, because they are the best controls in the business. I did try some once, and I keep telling myself to buy them, but I'm not much of a VR gamer, so that's why I haven't bothered. And that's why I'm not using controllers today, because obviously for flight simulation purposes, you don't really need them. Well, they don't really work very well either. So yeah, straight away, I can tell the tracking is much better. It's just a little bit crisper. I also like, as I say, how it doesn't give you any extra weight. You know, you can't even tell it's there. So that's great. Anyway, we're now going to put it through the test by doing a display over Bournemouth in the Typhoon and the DOF LTH2 using motion compensation, the whole works, and let's see how we get on. Here we go then. That never gets old, that feeling, I tell you that. And we're up already. She is a beast. Oh, this sim with this headset, it's just so good. It's so good. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. This is actually my first day of using VR. I've done 2 videos. I've got another one out next week. But yeah, this is my first day of using VR in about 3 weeks, and it's absolutely blown my mind, guys. It really has. I can't believe how much I've missed it. even in 3 weeks of just not flying at all. All the videos you've seen on the channel have been quite old videos. This just feels so good, and it's nice to just know that I'm using, you know, the proper best in-class tracking, the Lighthouse tracking, and it just feels so solid. It really does. So another reason why I'm making this video is because I'm trying out the latest eye tracking beta, and there's a few things I want to mention about the software in general. Now it seems when you switch off your Pimax Crystal, well, you can do it through the client software, which is brilliant. I'll show that on the screen now. Very, very easy. And what that means is the crystal is then shut down. But this is the bit I love the most. The fact that it charges itself back up again. So that means you don't really have to worry about swapping batteries anymore. And I can get between 3 and 5 hours on one battery with the Pimax Hub at the moment, with a test that I did a while ago, which is plenty. In fact, most of my VR flying is about 2 to 3 hours. All I need to do then is shut down the Pimax Crystal and it will charge back up again, ready for next time. That's a really, really good feature. I love that. Anyway, I'm now going to tell you the reason why we're using the Typhoon today in this particular livery. Now this is quite sad news actually. This livery you're seeing right now, Blackjack, well, it's about to be scrapped by the RAF because the Typhoons are getting a new radar system and the RAF have deemed it too expensive to update this particular version of Typhoon. So at the moment, at the time of this going live, the Typhoon is displaying at Bournemouth. So I just wanted to give it a bit of a tribute because I've seen this particular model, livery, display in real life many, many times. And I'm very sad to see and hear that it's going to be retired. So this seems very fitting. So with that being said, we're now going to do a display over Bournemouth. Now annoyingly, I'm not using the eye tracking for this video because you're going to see loads of jankiness on the display. You're going to see loads of foveated rendering stuff going on. So that does take down at least 10 to 15% performance, but I am still getting 45 frames per second, or just under at the moment. So I'm sacrificing that for this video, for you guys today. Alright, let's just slow down a minute because I'm going a bit fast for the first manoeuvre. God, I can hear my haptic seat. You might even be able to pick it up in the microphone. Just go mental. Oh, yes. This is epic. Absolutely epic. I might need to move my mouse off my motion rig. There we go, because it's just going to be annoying. There we go.
Pull up.
I'm intending to, don't worry, bitchin' Betty. And then straight into a high G manoeuvre. Notice how motion compensation's doing its thing as well. I do have a video about motion compensation. If you're going to get a motion rig, I definitely recommend a width motion sensor. That way you're always going to be central in the cockpit when pulling such crazy manoeuvres in your motion rig. I can't, honestly, every time I do this it makes me so giddy. I know it's annoying, guys, sorry, I don't mean to be so excitable like this, but it truly is genuine. I'm not just putting it on, I promise. It's just how it makes me feel. I love it. Look at that, over the top again. I have to say the CJ Typhoon, whoa, is very, very nice. I did moan about it when it was first released, saying that the sounds were a bit crap. That's because they were using the default F18 sounds. But now, it's got its own sound set. It's had it for a while now, and it does sound absolutely sublime. So yeah, hopefully this shows you a few things. the fact that the Pimax Crystal is absolutely fine even in the motion rig. The faceplate, which now enables Lighthouse tracking, works absolutely flawlessly. And for those of you who really do truly value your tracking, because the Pimax inside-out tracking, well, it's okay, and for flight simulation purposes it's perfectly adequate really, but even doing this I can tell it's just that little bit better, especially when looking around. It's just solid, absolutely solid. So if that's important to you, then you can get the best of both worlds with the Pimax Crystal. Now there is one thing that I did think about. I don't know the answer to this, whether using the Lighthouse tracking means that you get better battery life. I don't know about that, but if that is the case, that's another good reason to get this faceplate. Now please bear in mind that the one I'm using today is a prototype. It's not the final version, but I mean it might as well be because it feels great. It works superb. Question is, will I be using this in place of the inside-out tracking? Well, most likely yes, simply because I do have base stations. Look at that. Oh, you beauty. Absolute beauty. If I'd have done this display in real life, I would have got into some serious trouble by now, simply because I've gone transonic a couple of times, which was not intentional, but oh well. So, you know, it's funny because it seems in the YouTube scape that the only way to be popular as a YouTuber is to hate on Pimax. But I'm sorry folks, if that makes me unpopular, I don't care. I love the Crystal. And I think what Pimax are doing is really truly pushing the boundaries, making this headset incredibly flexible. Adding a faceplate option so it can be Lighthouse is genius actually. So you can play Beat Saber wirelessly, or you will soon, hopefully. But you can also enjoy high-end VR, both inside-out tracking and Lighthouse tracking, depending on your budget and if you already have base stations. So that means you can use index controllers, or you can use their own controllers as well, or you can even upgrade later on. The point being, the Pimax Crystal gives you so many different options to enjoy VR the way you want to. And I must applaud them for that. And when you've got a display this beautiful, and I mean it, this is the best display of any consumer VR headset, period, then it all comes together very, very nicely, in my opinion. I think the only thing that Pimax need to do is focus on their quality control and communication, because I do feel the main reason why Pimax get into trouble is because of their own enthusiasm for VR. They want to do so many things, but they just need to kind of hold off and get them right first before announcing stuff. But yeah, I've just had the most amazing fun I've had in VR for a long time. That was just amazing. I hope you enjoyed that video. This has been the Pimax Crystal using the new Lighthouse faceplate in the DOF Reality H2 in the CJ Simulations Typhoon, giving a farewell tribute to this particular livery of the RAF. Thank you so much for watching as always, I truly appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now. Oh, by the way, another thing I wanted to mention is now the auto IPD gets my IPD right every single time. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the eye tracking update will be available to the public very soon. I really hope anyway, because you're going to love it, guys. Especially in DCS world, you're talking of nearly 100% boost in performance, 90 frames per second all day long. Right, time for round 2, I think.